Hello everyone, I'm Mike DeAngelo with That's Entertainment, and this is your video review of Eternal Sonata by Tri-Crescendo. It isn't often that a game that isn't a military strategy is based in non-fiction. It would seem to be very difficult to pull off the right way, making things entertaining while keeping the game grounded in reality. Tri-Crescendo found a way to circumvent reality while still recognizing one of the authentic great masters of romantic music, Frédéric Chopin. This blend of reality and fantasy stood to make a fairly enjoyable game that was still steeped in the actual events of history. However, the concept of the game's story was only one facet of Eternal Sonata. Did it have the content to back up its unique premise? Chopin lay dying. It actually happened in 1849 when the renowned Polish composer fell ill from tuberculosis. Eternal Sonata uses this sad time from the pianist's life to facilitate the world the game takes place in. As a result of his weakness and proximity to death, Chopin creates a dream world for himself to replace his life as his reality. It is in this world where darkness and light and music manage to grip just about everything. Things aren't just a one-off nod to the composer either. Each of the game's chapters is based somehow on the true events of history. The actual story of the game revolves around much more than just Chopin. A tale of politics, espionage, and high fantasy is weaved into a complex web that may be too difficult to accurately keep track of. Characters and towns all have names that carry musical tones, which can end up hindering their personality and unique developments. It is somewhat easy to get lost in the narrative. Eternal Sonata doesn't exactly play like a normal RPG. At first glance, there are no extraordinary bells and whistles, though there are some pieces of the game's engine that set it apart, even superficially. For one, the combat is like a fusion of real-time and turn-based strategy. You have a set amount of time to perform your actions, which is associated with an action gauge that depletes after every attack or even movement. Calculating your turn correctly can mean everything to the welfare of your party. Beyond this, there are several other things that Eternal Sonata plays with. For one, light and darkness have a fair share of changes that they add to play. While players gain access to different moves while they are standing beneath the rays of the sun or beneath the shade of a tree, monsters can completely change their form, which could require a brand new tactic to take down. Progression in the game also unlocks party levels, which rewards your characters with some other advantages that they can use while they press through the fantasy world of Chopin. If you were to judge this game by its cover, you'd likely think that a company like Level 5 was the developer. While it isn't quite up to the snuff of that art team's graphical quality, the style is intrinsically similar. However, there is usually more happening on the screen in Eternal Sonata than many other games, and that is without taking into account the many colors of Chopin's imagination. The music is perfect for this game. While some people may not take to some of the classical tunes, it can easily be argued that there would be no other substitute given the narrative. The sound can be a little underwhelming in comparison, and especially repetitive. The voice work isn't the best in the business, and unfortunately, some of the characters will grate on your nerves over time.
That exudes a peaceful tranquility, a tranquility that further increases its.
A curious choice made by Tri-Crescendo was the necessity to play through the game twice to manage to gather the entire story. With this in mind, replay value feels especially forced. Achievements can't be acquired without this either. It feels very artificially lengthened, which makes the second playthrough feel weaker overall. However, players who have become accustomed to the game may be happy to know that the fights do end up challenging you a little more. It is always a challenge to balance everything within a game. The story of Eternal Sonata is plenty powerful, to the point where the gameplay even hinders it, as it is a very involved narrative. It's easy to get confused while playing, losing track of which characters are which, and just the objectives in general. The individual components of the game are competent, but nothing stands out in its current state. Still, you can see the possibilities that are available beneath the rough surface. That's Entertainment awards Eternal Sonata a score of 8 out of 10.